Queen's an exceptionally brutal fight in Don't Starve Together. Considered one of the most difficult bosses in the entire game and being on par with Toadstool and Ancient Fuelweaver in terms of it. She has 22,500 health. She leaves a trail of honey slowing you down, can summon a bunch of annoying minions indefinitely and make them move extremely fast. She's an absolute menace of a boss fight. The community's gotten very creative and has been using a wide variety of strats to take her down over the past 8 years, ever since she's gotten added in a new reign. Everything from minions and other bosses to do the dirty work for you, to using AoE abilities and other character-specific strategies, to whatever the fuck this is. I could go on and on about the strats this boss has to offer, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. With so many options at my disposal, especially for speedrunning, what could my favorite method possibly be? And one I'll be using for this video. Well, you already probably know because of the title, but it's this guy. Woodie is probably not the best choice for this speedrun, that goes to Wolfgang, but he's still a very viable option and my personal favorite. As for the skill tree I'll be using, perks like Quick Picker 3, Weremouth's Mastery, Curse Embracer, and Shadow Wrangler should all be no-brainer picks. Quick Pick lets you pick stuff faster if that wasn't obvious. Curse Embracer lets you eat kitschy idols with no penalties. The Weremouth's Mastery gives you a ground slam for every third hit, which is going to be very useful for this boss fight for obvious reasons. And last but not least, Shadow Wrangler makes nightmare creatures neutral towards you, similar to how a Bone Helmet works, but only when you're in a were form. All of these are going to be mandatory perks for this run. I have some other miscellaneous perks that I won't be using for this run, except for the wooden walking stick, and you may be asking, why didn't I go for the 3 transformation timer perks? And to that I answer, I'll have to use multiple Weremouth's idols in this run, meaning I'll have to de-transform a couple of times in order to heal up, and this just makes the process way faster, which is, you know, obviously good in the speed run. Anyways, enough talk, let's play the run.
We have Bobot Roy here, the record holder.
So, my main objective before the fight actually starts is to get 3 Weremouth's idols, about 260, 250 worth of healing items, most of which are going to be blue mushrooms, and a wooden walking stick. A Pan Flute isn't necessary, and there's a good amount of videos on YouTube doing this fight with this strategy without it, but I just so have happened to got one during this run. Basic resources around the starter biome that I'm going to pick are going to be 6 twigs, 8 grass, 7 logs, 5 flint, and I'll eventually need to set a tree on fire so I can get a charcoal and make a wooden walking stick. Immediately after collecting most of those, I found a savanna biome with a wormhole nearby. I mined a boulder and collected the rest of the grass I'm going to need for the rest of the run. Okay, so here's one of the first tricks of the run I've done, and you may be asking, why is there no black screen when you jump through the wormhole, and why did you open the settings menu? You can cancel the black screen of the wormhole entirely by simply opening the settings screen right before you begin the enter animation. This technique was discovered by speedrunner Salem and has been incredibly useful for a majority of unseated speedruns. After jumping through said wormhole, I found Bee Queen herself and a spider forest, so I set a tree on fire and immediately started killing the spiders. This is probably the most well-known technique slash strategy of the run, so I won't go too in-depth over it, but my animation canceling method of choice is to equip an item with both my keyboard and my mouse, meaning I press 2 on my keyboard in this instance to equip the pickaxe, then immediately unequip it with my mouse so it cancels the animation. This specific animation canceling strat's only really doable with no cave lag and on your own host, so I either usually have caves disabled or I use a server mod that removes the cave lag entirely, which is allowed in speedruns. I mined a gold boulder that was nearby the spiders in order to make a science machine, and then I found the terrarium set boost shortly after and equipped the logs nearby, while killing even more spiders in the process. One annoying mistake I made during the run is not opening the terrarium chest because I had the chance of containing items like healing salves and maybe even a spear, which would have been very noticeable time saves. After getting all the monster meat I needed, I spot Pig King at the corner of my eye and go there immediately to gather blue mushrooms. I also chopped the tree I burnt earlier in order to make the wooden walking stick. Then I immediately place the science machine down in order to prototype a shovel. I go to the citrus bar and dig around 14 or so blue caps. You can get away with using a bit less, but 14 just makes the fight way more consistent. I also find the pan flute, which I pick up, but just like I said at the start of the run, this isn't a necessity. And now, I have everything I need for the fight. I have my 3 werewolf idols, blue mushrooms, my wooden walking stick, and my pan flute. I'll play Bee Queen's fight in its entirety while occasionally explaining what's going on, but without further ado, let's begin. Phase 1's pretty simple. I use the Moose's area of effect ground slime attack to help me kill the Grumblebees, whilst I chase the Bee Queen around using the charge, which mitigates the slowness effect of her honey entirely. I'm usually able to do 3 or so ground slams in before she runs away from me, but sometimes I can get away with doing 1 or 2 more. As you can see, I got very unlucky this run, and Bee Queen got stuck on the water several times. This was kind of an annoying time loss, but rather than repositioning, I just decided to deal with it. I ended up getting lucky and Bee Queen flew away from the water and back to the hive. There's nothing interesting that happens for the remainder of this phase, so might as well bring up the fact that the Weremoose has hit stun immunity when doing the charge and when beginning the ground slam attack. And this is very important for a majority of this fight. Phase 2 begins, and then I do the similar stuff as the first phase, but now I need to be even more careful to get the ground slams in right as she summons the 2 batches of Grumblebees. This is where the hit stun immunity comes in handy and makes a ginormous difference. Right as I get to the last sliver of my health, I charge away and attempt to de-transform. I'm going to charge away rather than walk away for 2 reasons. 1, because it's faster, and 2, my wear meter drains way faster when I'm charging and not walking, because for some reason it doesn't consider me charging walking. De-transform, blow the pan flip twice to sleep Bee Queen and her minions. I eat 7 blue caps to heal back to full, and then I immediately transform once again. It's time for phase 3. This is where she does the Grumblebee charge, and it's more or less the same as phase 2 for the Weremoose. And you can actually avoid the charge, even though she still does the screech, which is what I do here, because once again, she's stuck on the fucking water. I'll also be canceling the charge when I'm de-transforming so that the Bee Queen's minions will charge at me when I'm at 10 HP and have no armor. Her screech also lets me get a bunch of damage in, so this phase is probably easier than phase 2, so that's on it. And now for the final phase and the last stretch of this fight. Nothing special really happens aside of her doing the screech more often, but I don't have much else to say. If you want to try this fight out yourself, I'd recommend bringing more idols and healing maybe, and also armor for whenever you de-transform, because the Grumblebees will probably be able to hit you. This is a very dangerous and demanding fight for the Weremoose, and learning this is way easier said than done, so if you struggle, don't worry. This took me a lot of time to practice and get used to.
Good. No, it's over. It's over.
No.
It's over. I'm throwing Bobot.
ends with a time of 9 minutes and 26 seconds. Do I think this could be improved? Yeah, I got him out. The Monster Meat RNG wasn't the best, and the fight was really slow because of the World Gen screwing me over, but with even better execution and better World Gen, I can definitely do a run, day 1 run. If you stuck until this part of the video, I'd like to thank you for watching till the end. I'm trying to do more content like this, and hopefully I can make more because this was a blast to make, even though I sound really unenthusiastic during a majority of it. I don't really know how to end this video, so... and then the emoji noise.